heading towards the final boss. You know, with all this build-up for Dr. Claw, I can't wait to finally kick his artichoke. You know, Claw, I really...
You don't think you're him?
You know, it's been a long time since you last talked about a video game. I know! I get it's been about almost 2 years since the last time I talked about a game. But, I don't know, just enjoying life, just enjoying everything. You know how it goes. Look, man, I get that. Like, you just can't be waiting forever. Like, come on, you've got people out there who are intrigued to see what else you talk about, so... Come on, man. You gotta do something. Yeah, you're right. Now, that's a good point. But look, what do I even talk about? I mean, I've covered a lot of heavy hitters, just... What's even there for me to think about? I have got an idea for you. How about you take a look at a movie? I mean, hey, you don't really do movies that often, so why not? A little bit of a treat. You know what? I actually like your thinking there. I mean, hey, it's not a traditional video game as such, but hey, a movie sounds like a fun idea. You know what? I'm more than happy to do it. I'm more than happy.
Okay, now let's see what we've got in here. Now, what would I want to watch?
He doesn't even need a hat.
Aha!
Yeah, Jumanji. Yeah, I remember this movie when I was younger. It's a classic. A classic movie from a classic series. Oh, that's a great movie. Great choice there. Yeah, that's perfect. Let me just take a... Does this mean I have to talk about the video game?
Yeah.
Great. I think it's safe to say when it comes to entertainment companies, there's probably a fair few out there who are, well, complicated, convoluted, condescending, all sorts of things. But when it comes to media companies, oh, there is one media company that is known to be the ultimate hater. And that company is Sony.
But I think it's safe to say in the history of entertainment and technology that Sony has become the ultimate hater company. Not hate in the sense of like everybody hates them. Oh, no, no, no. In the sense that Sony hates everybody and will do everything in their power to screw over everybody. We've seen it time after time, and well, they're not gonna stop. They will never stop on that, because, well, at this point, Sony has been backstabbed far too many times, and, well, safe to say, they are more than happy to backstab everybody. It's a Sony way of doing things at this point, and it's quite competitive. For example, when Sony lost the videotape format wars with their Betamax format, well, they didn't forget. Oh, they went ahead and bought an entire film studio in Columbia TriStar and turned it into an entertainment powerhouse, releasing banger movie after banger movie after banger movie. You couldn't stop them. And when the video disc format war come around, oh, they were there with Blu-ray and won. Then, when they introduced the DAT format, meant to be the replacement for the compact cassette, oh, the music industry was pissed off that you could record full CDs on it in full quality. So what did Sony do? Oh, they just went ahead and bought one of the companies that didn't like the DAT format in Columbia Records and became a powerhouse in the music industry. Yeah, quite easy. And then, when Nintendo decided to backstab Sony on a partnership to develop a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo and a standalone console, Sony just went ahead and made their own games console in the PlayStation. And I think it's safe to say, without the PlayStation, gaming would be in a whole lot of a different place than it is today. That's for sure. So yeah, I think it's safe to say when it comes to Sony, they will do whatever they want. Whenever they're backstabbed, they are willing to make sure that everybody knows about it, and they will make sure that everybody pays. And well, that's pretty much their mantra.
Look, Sony has every right to be the ultimate hater. I mean, they've won every last battle they've been in the last few years. They've dominated the industries they're a part of, and now, well, they're unstoppable. Nobody can legitimately stop them. But I'll tell you, if there's one thing we know about Sony is that they make some bold decisions. And a lot of the time, those bold decisions become franchises that make no sense to be franchises. And one such franchise? Jumanji. Seriously, how is this allowed for kids?
1995 saw one of Sony's biggest ever film projects in Jumanji. What starts out as like his typical family film about a young boy who discovers, well, a board game, but a board game like no other. As well, it has super mysterious powers, as he discovers when he plays the game with a friend. And well, let's be honest here, I think that was the biggest mistake here, cause yeah, you might have caused your own death! Cause in this movie, yeah, I legit thought it was a horror film as a kid, cause this is just so fucked up at points. Like, the amount of stuff that this movie does where it's terrifying? Yeah, how is this a kid's movie? I mean, consider the amount of deadly shit that's in this. Lions? A fucking Venus flytrap? Poachers? Yeah, if you were living in this universe, you'd probably be dead. And the fact that Sony thought this movie was suitable for kids? What kind of drugs were they on when they made this?
Now, don't get me wrong. I can see why Sony would want to turn this movie here, Jumanji, into a franchise. I mean, it's got the whole appeal for it. I mean, a mysterious board game with the powers of mass destruction? I mean, what more do you want? And then they decided to turn it into a video game? I mean, that whole premise has been done many times across the film industry, because, well, Hollywood's scared that the video game industry is going to take their jobs. And I mean, they should be. But still, Jumanji as a series, legendary. So why? Why would you take such a great movie like the original Jumanji, one of the greatest sort of family films ever really made, and, oh, I don't know, turn it into a PS2 game? I mean, look, Jumanji's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It is a great movie, but did it really need a game on the PlayStation 2? And did it really need it? When I don't want to do this. These motherfuckers decided to turn it into a game? Folks, this is not gonna be fun. I mean, you know how infamous Blast is as a company. I mean, they've produced some of the worst video games ever to be based on licensed properties. And the fact that they kept
getting these licenses, the fact that they continuously got them, it's ridiculous. And the fact that the makers of the PlayStation themselves, Sony, would approve one of their own franchises to get a game from them, it makes you ask a lot of questions about the headspace Sony was in at this time. So, I guess nothing left to it. So, is this game actually bad? Or is it good? I mean, it's a shovelware publisher, so you're expecting the absolute worst, folks. And well, I'm expecting it too. So, I guess let's just do it. We are greeted by the fools who actually thought this was a good idea, even though they should have realized it wasn't. And when we boot into the game here, I've definitely got a good feeling what this game probably is like. Obviously, you do have your fair share of choices of playable character, but yeah, I think we can definitely tell what kind of game we're in here, folks. Now look, the idea of turning Jumanji into a board game video game does make a lot of sense. I mean, considering what the original movie story is all about. But board game video games had already become a big genre in itself. I mean, look at Mario Party. That's probably the most iconic example of that. I mean, there's no way this is going to be as good as Mario Party. Heck, I don't think this is even going to be as good as Sonic Shuffle. Hell, look at Fusion Frenzy. I know it didn't use the whole board game concept, but yeah. Yeah, already we're having some deja vu here, folks, because this is looking bad. I am glad, however, that there is a lot of options here. I mean, at least this game's quite customizable, which, hey, at least that's a pro, I guess. I'm gonna go for a more custom game, just to see everything this game has to offer. And well, when we boot into the main game here, yeah, this looks rough. The graphics here very much are dated, even for PS2 standards. Like, this looks like something you'd see out of the PS1. The movement just feels janky and off, and for a board game video game, that's kinda something you don't want to mess with. And the feeling, the vibes, it just feels off. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Okay, not a good first impression. Very much not a good first impression, but well, let's see how the first minigame goes. And it's one of the most boring minigames I ever played in my life. Seriously, the objective of this minigame is to spear the little fishies, but you don't really get that sort of sense of feeling of accomplishment here. It just feels boring and repetitive here. You basically just press one button over and over while moving the joystick, and yeah, it's not really that fun. It's just repetitive. And the fact I was able to win this minigame? Wow, what a way to drop the ball to start with. I'm starting to get the feeling this game was made very cheaply. And by very cheaply, I mean no budget at all. And look, I could edit this section out for time, but I'm showing you how slow these pieces move. Seriously, the fact that they programmed the pieces to move this slowly? Wow, just goes to show something, I suppose. But after just kludging through that, we finally make it to another minigame. And well, it's Warlords. It is literally just the Atari game Warlords. The fact that they thought, oh, we can get away with selling a classic Atari game like this? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, seriously, if I want to play Warlords, I play fucking Warlords. But then, after going through another long board game section, oh, look at that. Another minigame. And this time, it's just Missile Command. No, seriously, this minigame is pretty much just a rip-off of Missile Command, but with bats! I don't think Batman would approve of something like this. And yeah, This is as painful to play as you are seeing right now. Then we move on to another board game section that takes forever to get through. And then, oh yeah, another minigame. And this time, it's probably the slowest stampede I think I have ever seen. Even Flash games are faster than this. Like, what the hell happened here? Is this seriously how we're gonna do this shit? Really? For the whole game? These terrible minigames and these bland board game sections? Seriously, you gotta wonder at this point where the money was going into this game. Well, probably to secure the license from Sony, but Sony should have never gave them the license! And off we continue with more boring board game sections until, oh, look at that, we finally reach another minigame. Honestly, the minigames are fine, but they're not great, and they pretty much are either rip-offs of already existing video games, or most likely ripped off from other party games. They just feel bland and repetitive, and you play the same few games over and over again. And when the party games in this party game get boring and repetitive, yeah, you have a real problem in your hands, and it just gets annoying and repetitive. And all you're left with having to deal with all that is, oh, I don't know, the board game sections. But the board game sections are so bland that it makes the minigames stand out even more for being so shit. Ugh. The fact that this is a real game just makes me feel sick. This is ridiculous! This is actually ridiculous when you consider the fact that Sony gave the license to the Jumanji sort of spin-off film, Zaphora, to a major publisher like 2K. The fact that they were able to give Zaphora to 2K, and this to Blast? Wow. Talk about desecrating the grave of Robin Williams. And he wasn't even dead yet when this game came out! After literal hours of getting through it. Oh my god, we just gotta wait for this guy to be finished. I can get on to my role and we can end this game. And another minigame. Great, of course there'd be one more. And it's the fucking Warlords minigame. Of course, what a fucking surprise. Thanks for spending your money on this game. Hope you enjoyed it. Just gotta finally get through this last roll. Hope to God this might be the end, and yes, it's over. Finally. Thank fuck it's over with. Like, wow. Considering the fact this video has taken me almost 2 years to get done, yeah. This is probably the worst party game I think I've ever played, and considering the amount of bad party games out there, that's saying something. Awful graphics, gameplay that rips off other games, and misusing an IP? Wow, this is bad. How is this a real game? How is this a real game? To take one of the most beloved family films of all time, and to turn it into a pile of shit? That's a fucking disgrace. I mean, you can see why they needed to bring The Rock in. Because this game almost killed the franchise with its existence. Oh my god. Thank God that's over with. Blast knew how to ruin an IP very quickly. And this is probably their biggest offender yet. To take such a classic movie and turn it into a boring party game that isn't even that fun, that doesn't have much to do with the actual movie and the themes of the movie? Wow. Wow, talk about a misstep. Probably one of Sony's biggest mistakes they've ever made. Yeah, folks, you can tell this game is getting a 1 out of 5. I mean, my god, with all the flaws that it has? Yeah. You can see why people do not want shovelware in the modern day. And the fact that companies are still getting away with releasing shovelware? It hurts the soul. It really hurts the soul, folks. Sadly, shovelware still continues to be released today, with companies like Game Mill Entertainment and Outright Games releasing slup titles meant for the kids to shut them up based on their favorite IP. Even though, let's be honest here, kids are smarter than these companies think, and they should know. In fact, Sony had continued to license out their IPs to shovelware companies to make games. Although that has stopped in recent years, so hopefully they finally learned from their mistakes. I really hope Sony has finally learned from their mistakes not to give their IP to shovelware holders, but you know they're not gonna listen. You know Sony wants those big bucks. Cause, I mean, it's Sony. They don't care what you think. They'll do whatever they want. You know, now you think about it, Sony is starting to really feel like the Apple of the media industry. But that's neither here or there. What's more important is that, thank God we're done with this shit. So, thank you all so much for watching, and as I always like to say, I will see you all next time. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you all whenever that may be. Johnny!